What's going on, everybody? In this video, I'll be getting into a few different things. First, specifically, I'll be reviewing what I'm finding is the cheapest e-gym or smart gym platform on the internet, and that is the Squatz Pluto Board. And then I also want to use this as somewhat as an opportunity to kind of talk about some of the general pros and cons and just concerns about some of this emerging smart gym market, because odds are you're seeing a lot of platforms come out that are like this, and I think you're going to see a lot more in the near future. So I thought I'd kind of use this as an example, using this product to kind of discuss some of those things. I would consider this my first review of any kind of e-gym or smart gym product. I've had tons of companies since I've had this channel reach out to me to actually do like a paid review on some of these things. A lot of these are really popular models you guys have heard of. I just was somewhat resistant to it. Also, I don't really do I've never done any kind of a paid review. I've had reviewed this Unitree pump in the past. Again, they sent this to me, and this was kind of my first foray into something like this, using technology with resistance. I didn't know anything about this, and since that review, this thing has become pretty popular. A lot of you guys have been asking about it recently, which made me kind of start thinking about using this thing again, which is really cool, but it drains battery really fast. That's a downside. Made me kind of think about using this kind of smart gym platform. So I actually sought this company out specifically because they had a lower cost of entry. So I thought more people maybe could try this type of product out and not spend a whole lot of money to kind of get some of the pros and cons. They do have something that's called like an Apollo board. This is their Pluto board. Their Apollo board is also cool. It has 2 channels, but what I like specifically about this, and I'll get into this pros and cons, is that this thing actually has a single channel cable, which sounds like a downside, but there's actually a lot of cool things using a single channel unit. But also, most specifically, this thing is so cheap as of right now. So this Unitree pump, I think, goes for like $289 on Amazon, and this thing is sitting right now like $350. So for, $60 or so plus more, you can actually get a full-fledged, much more higher resistance. You're not going to burn out on batteries. But that's kind of the motivation of kind of why I selected this product. They did give me an affiliate link, but honestly, I'm not even going to use it because it's just so much more cheaper to get this thing on Amazon. I do have an affiliate with Amazon link if you guys want to check that out, but it's just much cheaper to go on Amazon to pick up this product, and also their Apollo board. So if it wasn't clear already, I did not pay for this. They sent this to me free of charge. They did not pay me to do this review. They said I can be really as honest as I want to, so that's always a good thing. That's always what I'm seeking when I do any kind of a review. So getting into it, this thing came shipped from Amazon. It came pretty secure in a very big, heavy box. I think the total weight, it says on their page, basically is a little over 50 pounds. So this unit definitely is heavy and beefy. When you kind of take it out of the box, you're going to feel that kind of weight. Very substantial, heavy-duty unit. Has some little wheels in the back end, so you actually can pick it up from this side and wield if you want to, but still pretty heavy. I'd say this thing is definitely around 50-ish pounds. The attachments that come with this are a simple kind of bar with a little kind of fabric rotational thing, so it's not like a metal rotational bar. So probably more on the inexpensive side, but still does its job. They give you not 1 but 2 handles. I'm not sure because there's not really 2 ways of using this, but maybe there's some reason I'm kind of missing out on, but I guess it's better to have 2 versus 1, so that's cool. And then they give you 1 simple ankle attachment. And then getting into the basic operations and functions, there's a little switch onto the side here, which will make a very loud noise once you turn it on. This thing kind of loads up, and then that noise will click on, retracts the cable, and you're ready to go. This thing goes from 4 pounds up to 99 pounds. There are 3 modes. Mode 1 is just basic, concentric, eccentric, normal type of lifting type patterns. I will say though, to get the most out of this, if you just go really fast, it doesn't give off that tension right away. It's gonna go like a nice slow, steady kind of tempo to really feel that full tension and force. Mode 2 is a straight eccentric mode, so you get a nice kind of straight concentric with nothing, and then a full eccentric negative pull, which is really cool for a number of exercises, specifically bicep curls. And then mode 3 is this isokinetic mode, which I'm probably not going to use that much because I feel like it would really stress the motor, but it's something where you can kind of go up and fight with hard as you can. It'll give you some sort of minimal resistance. So that's cool for like power squats or like more explosive type squats or something like that. On their website, it actually said that you could stream music from this thing. I tried really hard to figure that out. I don't think you can. That would be a cool little bonus if you could actually stream music from your phone into here. What's really nice, and a big reason why I kind of considered this one as well to do a review, is that you do not need the app to actually use it. I can just say personally, I'm definitely not going to be using the app. I'm just going to be using the actual manual functions on here. To actually go ahead and change the weight, you would just kind of dial this up and down. It's pretty obvious. Once you find the weight you like, you hit start.
Resistance has been started. Please pay attention to your safety.
All right, you hear some sort of sound like that. If you were to
Resistance has been released.
Go to something really high, it'll give you like a warning.
Resistance has been started. The weight you set is large. Please pay attention to your safety.
So it kind of sounds like they're setting you up for like a ride at Disney World, which is, interesting, but it counts your total reps. It doesn't reset your reps. So when you turn this thing on and you start doing reps, it just gives you feedback about the total reps you're doing. It'll count like a partial repetition also, for whatever it's worth. You guys might have been able to hear this on the microphone, but there is a low frequency, kind of high pitch noise. It's not that annoying, but it's not unnoticeable, so I'm going to turn this off for the sake of driving myself crazy. Now getting into some of my favorite exercises and how this thing overall feels and just kind of producing results for that matter, I would say just like every tool I've really discussed, guys, I've said it's kind of a theme of the channel. It really is what you put into it. You can get an awesome workout on this thing. I was sweating and having a great workout with it, having a great time, honestly, exploring some of these things. Some of the benefits are just things that kind of stand out. I got so many good things that work the arms, but this thing definitely works the arms really well. Not only considering the fact you can do like eccentric mode, so now it's like literally having like a partner in the gym that can give you like an eccentric negative. I'll say this probably many times, but the center channel, I love that. I prefer that. I don't like stuff way far out. That's one of the reasons I think one of the cons I think on some of these platforms, especially if they're wider, if you got a long bar and there's tension kind of pulling you on each side, that can be good for things like squats, obviously, and some things where you have to load both sides just to kind of make it work, like an overhead press or like bench pressing and stuff like that. But when it comes to things like bicep curls and some specific exercises, I love when that weight is pulling vertically straight down. So when I used to go to the gym and I would do like say resistant negatives with a partner, I'd always want the partner to kind of give me resistance in the center versus out here. I could just kind of feel that slight difference. Could be a personal preference, but the point is there are pros and cons with the center channel. So biceps feels good. And that leads us into another one that stands out with the center channel function. It would be like overhead tricep extensions. If you guys go to the gym, I never like doing overhead tricep extension, just don't feel that good. I feel like the tension, the way it's distributed on the dumbbell as you're kind of going up and down just isn't as compact and it's say like a cable machine or some other exercises you might do in the gym. But with this, having that center tension pulling you straight down, you really definitely feel an increase in stress and tension on your triceps. So I really like that, this overhead tricep extension with the center cable. You can do some other like kickbacks as well if you really wanted to. Shoulders are definitely awesome on here. Of course, the big downside is you got this strap coming right up the center, so you can't get a straight vertical press right over your head. So that might be a little annoying, but you definitely can still work your shoulders. Start incorporating the handle. A lot of great single joint exercises, lateral raises, frontal raises, bent over rear delt flies. I loved actually doing a single arm shoulder press, which I would do that a lot with dumbbells anyways, and this felt great. Back exercises also work out fairly well. You can do a lot of bent over row exercises with the handle. You could do double bent over row. Bench press or chest, I would just say this thing really just stink for it. So if I was doing a workout, I would incorporate those other things, and definitely I'd find something else to do with chest. I didn't mess. As far as lower body, you get into things like you can do deadlifts, you can do RDLs, feel adequate. Obviously you're gonna be limited in some of the weight. You only get 100 pounds on here. Otherwise, other multi-joint exercises for your legs, front squats feel good. I did some belt squats on here. So some sort of squat belt that has a clip in the front would work out. Again, it's always going to be pulling you kind of in the front. I'd say pull more from the front from the back, but yeah, you can do some sort of a resisted belt squat. And then once you throw on the ankle attachment, a lot of isolated hip movements and glute movements that all feel excellent. Now getting into pros and cons, this overall general concerns about this machine, other e-gyms that are out there. First and foremost with this one, I love the fact that it's extremely cheap. This is, like I said, the cheapest e-gym or smart gym that's out there as far as a platform setting. Let me know if there's something else that's cheaper. Love the fact you don't need the app to actually operate it. That is huge in my opinion. Hope all companies kind of have that option where you can just dial it in on the machine, not necessarily need the app. I do like the center channel. Granted, this might be an individual personal preference, kind of giving you a nice vertical force. I do think in general across the board that what's really cool about these machines is that it gives off a type of force and tension that is very unique across any type of resistance training equipment that we've seen prior to this. So cable machines, free weights, even resistance bands, they all have unique pros and cons. But also the fact that they actually get different types of modes, so eccentric and concentric only. Also, like I've been saying, this kind of straight down pull versus like free weights or even a cable machine might kind of pull you, or a functional trainer pulling you more kind of towards like one direction. Being able to fight in this straight line I think is cool. The tension does feel very mechanical and something that is distinctive, but you kind of have to become one with the machine to kind of find that groove that works for you, at least for this machine. Now getting to some of the cons and concerns, and this is not just with the Squatz board, but with any e-gym platform that's out there, even something really expensive like a Vitruvian, is I just don't know how long these things are lasting, or gonna last, because and some of these companies are kind of pop-up companies that are smaller companies, especially that new stuff that's coming out there. So if you break a motor, you break a part, or let's just say you wear out a cable, like I'm even just paying attention to what this cable's like as it's kind of rubbing against this kind of little metal on the inside. I don't know what's going on the inside. I don't know how this cable is going to last over time. I don't know how I'd replace this thing. So just replacement, overall longevity, and also just the motor, because you are working these things pretty hard. And that's another con, is that you always need electricity, obviously, and this thing actually did seem like it drawed a lot of power. There was 2 outlets in my house that seem to always want to trip the switches on those outlets. This one's working fine, but that's something to kind of consider, is that if you don't have electricity, you can't use this thing. A gigantic one for most of you guys you probably faced, and doesn't really apply to this one too much, is just subscription-based models that they might give you some stuff for free initially, and then eventually there's going to be subscriptions down the line if you want to take advantage of, say, workouts and stuff like that. That doesn't really bother me too much, but if they start putting paywalls behind like basic functions like concentric, eccentric only type stuff, which I think I heard that with a tonal, like you can't even use the eccentric only or something like that unless you're using the subscription. I could be way off on that, because I think tonal is subscription only, but I thought there's some features you actually have to pay premium in the tonal, but I don't know for sure about that. But yeah, just maximizing subscriptions and being on kind of like the dole, like some sort of app. And then probably the biggest concern on any unit I'm talking about would just be safety. You probably heard some of the crazy Peloton stories, but these things are operating with batteries and electricity, and they do have built-in safety features like this thing does. If I just ripped on this thing while it's on, it'll kind of stall out. But there's a lot of moving parts, a lot of stuff that's generating a lot of force, and again, electricity that kids get their fingers stuck in certain things or whatever, especially get young kids around. So that's something that's I'm even mindful, even on this thing, is, you know, just being mindful. I don't want to get electrocuted or have some weird thing happen to me, but just that'd be something, just overall safety concerns. That's really it. I was gonna wait to actually put this review out. I'm gonna be putting this thing through the ringer, so if anything does change, I'll put a comment down below to see how it's kind of holding up. But I wanted to get this out there because it seemed like this is the lowest price it's been going for. So if someone's like eyeing an e-gym or something to kind of get this unique tension and feel and some of these exercises like I talked about, this would be something kind of entry level, but you may want to pay more premium for something that's a little heavy duty. But at the very least, just want to showcase something that's out there, some of these new products, and kind of talk about, again, some of those pros and cons on those e-gyms. Would love to hear your thoughts and opinions on if you guys got one, if you're considering picking up an e-gym, what you guys like about them. Otherwise, I'll see you guys in the next video. Thank you for watching.